your newspaper, before the races start and before the betting windows open, there are odds on the program and in the newspaper. How do they get there? Well, they're known as the morning line for obvious reasons. They used to be made in the morning before the races. And they are made by people who are experts at handicapping. People like Charlie Singer, who is with me right now, and who is a morning line maker. And the first question that I have for you, Charlie, is one of philosophy. Does the morning line represent what you think the horses will go off at post time, or what you think they should go off at post time?
The morning line should reflect what the odds will be at post time as reflected on the tote board. You're supposed to give a guideline of what price the bettor can expect rather than tempering it with your own opinion of the races. I read proof every morning from the horses' eligibility certificates, which contains all their past races, including what odds they've been going off at in past races and what their current form is. Who the drivers will be is very important, especially at this racetrack, and the post positions. And from that, you add that all together in a mishmash and you come up with a figure.
Speaking of adding it all together with a mishmash, I've heard many times, and others have in racing, of a balanced book. Do you want to explain briefly what that is in the morning line?
Well, the odds are based on parimutuel percentages. And if you look at the actual odds after the race, they'll always add up to a certain number. We usually go by about 125. In other words, 4 to 1 is 20 points, a division of 1 into 5. And the odds always have to balance. In other words, if you have a few horses that are heavily favored, 8 to 5 or so, to balance it out, you always have to have your 30, 40, and 50 to 1 shots.
Which reflects realism, of course, on the board.
Right. Some tracks I've been to, you'll have, a lot of horses 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, and it throws the public off because they have every horse as, relative favorite with none of the balance in there. You definitely have to have your long shots. Sometimes you have to be brave and painful to make a horse very long if he doesn't belong in the race or is non-competitive.
Conversely, what if he stands out? Do you have any aversion to making a horse an odds-on favorite if you figure he's going to be?
Not really. I'm a little conservative. A few years ago, we had a night here where I made a horse 1 to 5 and he got beat. And next race, 3 Diamonds came out on the racetrack, champion filly. She was 1 to 5 and got beat. They actually went off at 1 to 5 or even 1 to 10, so I felt justified. But after that, I think the lowest I'll go is 3 or 4 to 5, even on nitrous.
If it's any consolation, even experts like Charlie Singer, morning line maker, occasionally are wrong. But most of the time they're right, and the morning line odds that you see on the tote board, in the newspapers, in your past performance program, come from one expert's judgment. Charlie Singer is typical of them, but there's a Charlie Singer at every racetrack.